So when we're going to create mesh clothes using this mesh clothes simulation in Blender, I thought it would be a good idea to start out with a real life pattern, because it will be an advantage for us that we have our mesh planes shaped into something that will fit over the human form. So I went and searched for free t-shirt patterns, and I found this page, and down number 14 on the list I found this one, and it has this wraparound effect that I think would work really well with a kimono. There's some pleats here and stuff that we won't be doing, but the base of this is good. So I went to this link, and that's what I gave you here as well, to download, and that gave me a PDF file. Now this is a real life pattern with stuff that you can print out and everything. We don't need that. I'm just hunting for what I found on page 4, this outline of the pattern. This I want. So if I go to zoom and do the marquee tool zoom here, I can zoom all this to the page, and now I can screen capture this. In Windows it's the Windows key Shift S, and then you can screen capture this, save it as an image, and we can bring that image into Blender. And we can do that using an add-on, this one. So go to Edit Preferences and search for image. I already did that, and you can activate it here. If you click that little button, you can see how it works. Add Mesh Images as Planes. That's what we are going to do, so you can save that. Now, I'm going to use 3 other add-ons as well in this video, and they are all part of Blender, so you might have to search for them and activate them, but they should be there. Remember to save, and then we get back here. This one is what we're doing now, so Shift A, Images as Planes, and I need to find it here, and there we got it on a tiny plane down there. So let me scale that a little bit, and you can see it's there. I need to rotate it on X 90, and if I go to front view and move it up a little bit, we can see what we got here. So here's the back, here are the sleeves, and here are the 2 pieces that will make the front, and they will wrap around and overlap each other. And over here are the pleats that we won't be doing. A thing about the pleats, there's 8 up here. When you sew this for real, they will be folded in on each other until they're about half the size. So when I'm going to build my mesh, I will need to go 4 up. That's the height of this part of the pattern that I need when we're not doing the pleats. So you will see that in a little bit. Now I want to build mesh on this, and to do that I will have my cursor set here at my green line. Good. And then go back to select and close that one, and then I can Shift A, Mesh, Single Vertex, and it will spawn there where my cursor is. I hate having my cursor there, so let me move it out of my way. Okay, so now we can do what I call paint with vertices. Actually I'm just extruding, but if I hold my control and right mouse button click here, I get a vertex extruded from the one I had selected, and I can trace my form using this. If you're wondering, in my notes, that's right mouse button click, and that's left mouse button click. Okay, let's trace this pattern. I'm just control right clicking all the way around, so let me speed this up. So that's pretty much gone all the way through. When I connect it to like that, I just hit F. It will fill between single vertices, and I'll just get an edge. That means everything I have here are just vertices and edges. I don't have faces here yet, but we will fix that later on. Right now I want a vertex exactly in the middle here, and that means I need to subdivide, and I do that by right clicking my mouse and hit S. It's a very, very fast operation, and you will see me do it a few times in this video. I'm not reading that menu that comes up, because I know that subdivide is S. That's why there's that little line under the S here. So I can right click S, and I get that very fast. Now I need to move it up GX. And I need to do the same here, so right click S, G set down. Okay, so now I have the outline of my mesh here. These two are exactly opposite of each other, so I can use F again to connect those. But I have a problem now, because if we look at this pattern, how is this going to be sewn together? These are the shoulders. This one will go here, this one will go here. When we're making clothes with the cloth simulation in Blender, we are actually bridging edges. So this one will be sewn to that one. And that means those two edges here needs to have exactly the same number of vertices down here, or the bridge edge loop won't work. So that's why I'm being so careful about doing all this, because I need to keep track of every vertex I have here, at least at the seams. It is a bit fiddly, but it will get you a very nice geometry for your mesh, at least when we're done here. Now, this one will sew to this one, and they are made in the pattern to fit perfectly. But I have this edge and this edge. Those are the parts of the wraparound. And this one will sew to this edge, but it's not that long. It will only reach somewhere up here. And the same issue over here, where this one will be sewn on. I don't know how high that is, but it will be sewn on to somewhere here. And also this entire edge will be sewn to this entire edge, and this one will be somewhere in the middle here. So this measurement I need here and here, and this measurement I need here and there. Now how to do that? Luckily we have MeasureIt, another add-on, and it's a great one. So if I go to my end panel, view, I have MeasureIt tools right here. It can do all kinds of things. We're only using the segment, because look at this. If I select those two vertices and hit segment and then show, Blender will show me, okay, there's 5.07 meters for our giant lady here. That means I need a segment down here as long. I can't move this one because that's where the sleeve is going to connect, but I can subdivide again. So right click S, and now I have a segment here. Tell me how long that is. Not quite long enough. 5.07. So I can select that vertex, and double G will slide it somewhere around here. So what did I say? 507. Okay, the more I'm zoomed in, the easier it is to place it right. So double G, 5.07. There it is. I also need to know how long that segment is. That's 4.26. So subdivide this one and give me that segment, 4.26. Double G. I did say 26, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm doing exactly the same over here, but let's speed that up. This one goes there. This one goes there. Okay, so I got my measurements. I don't need to be able to see them any longer, so let me hide them and close this panel down. Good. So far so good. We still only have edges and vertices. We need to connect those over here somehow. And that's what we're going to use our TinyCAD for, because that is a cool tool as well. Let me show you. So if I select all the vertices, I need to extrude that way. I can't do two next to each other, because when I'm extruding I will get a plane there, but single vertices will be fine. So I select those, and then I go extrude X out here somewhere, and then I go the other way. That one, that one, that one. I can't do that one because then I will get a face, and I don't want that. So extrude X. Oops, that way. Okay, then I need to fix those that I had to jump at the first time. Extrude X, please. Good. So I have all those that goes the horizontal. Then I need the vertical as well. extrude set, and this one as well, extrude set. Okay. If I go to edge select now, select it all, and then right click, TinyCAD, intersect selected edges, and go back to vertex, select, you can see that it's connected everywhere now. Well, at least seemingly. I'll show you a little problem with it in a moment. But let's get rid of all those floating vertices. Oops, before we do that, let me make sure I have nothing else selected, and then circle select. Let's grab all these roots. I think I got them all. Delete vertices. Okay, problem with TinyCAD. Over here it's fine. Over here, not so fine. So we need to merge by distance now. So select M by distance, and it removed 20 vertices. Now we should be good. This is still only edges and vertices, so we need to fill this out now. If I select it all, go to mesh, clean up, fill holes. Now I have mesh here. Now you might end up in a situation where you can't see anything, or in a situation where your mesh is covering your pattern. That's because they're so close together. So let's go to object mode, move this back a bit, GY, and you can see the issue here now. It's easy to fix though. If you go to object select, viewport display, display as, right now we are textured, we want wire. Now we can see through this mesh. So back to front view and edit mode. Okay, we need to move our vertices into so they follow the pattern here. Let me speed that up because that's just GX all the way. Okay, I jumped this one because I wanted to show you. I can't follow this curve that's on the pattern because we skipped those pleats, so I need to wing it a little bit. Now, where to place this? Well, one thing I need to watch is that I don't want to have this part narrow down here. I need to preserve this length here all the way. So somewhere around here is probably about where it can be. Okay, good. So we have the basic here. We can start adding edge loops now. Still I need to be careful that if I add edge loops here, I need to add as many here and here. But it's not hard. It's just Control R and scroll my mouse wheel and count how many I add. So let's speed that up as well. Oh, by the way, before I continue here, a good idea it's not so much on this pattern, but it might be a good idea if you're working on stuff here, that you get your measurements marked down. So this one is important, and this one is too. That's the two. That's the two ones we measured before. Let me get that right. Here and there, and here and there. Oh, not that one. So how to mark them? Well, we do have a mark tool, don't we? If we go to U, mark seam, there we have it. We're not going to use it for UV maps, but right now it's very clear to see where we added those edges that marked our stuff we did with the MeasureIt tool. So on more complicated patterns, this can be a huge help when you're starting to add geometry. Okay, back to edge loops here. Okay, so we added the edge loops. Now I need to make sure that I'm following my pattern here now, because adding those edge loops, I got these straight lines, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to do my little GX trick again, and that's sped up as well. Okay, so we pretty much have all our horizontal lines now. We need to make some vertical ones, and I think I will start here. This is not going to be sewn to anything, so I can really add as many as I like. I think I'd go for 2, and then I need to move these down. G set. Okay, so we got the geometry here. Before we go on, I don't like there's such a large space between here, so we can use our last add-on here. Click there, control click there to get the line, and then right click to get LoopTools. It shows up here, and space. That will make them nice and evenly spread out here. I'm going to do that for this sleeve here all the way around. Okay, I'm trying to make sure I have exactly the same amount of vertices around here. A way to do that without having to sit and count them all is to go to Viewport Overlays and turn on statistics. And if you keep an eye on this number here, if I click there and right click down here, I get a row of vertices, and it tells me exactly how many I have selected. So there was 8, here's 8, here's 8, and there's 8. So that's good. That's a nice way to check that we got enough all the way around. Now let me fill this out with edge loops again, 4 on each side. Okay, so I can do edge loops up here, but if I do it just like this, they will go all the way through, but up here they will be very dense, and then they will spread out following the form here. That's not what I want, because I want a fairly even distributed geometry here. So I need to control where my edge loops are going, and I am going to do that with the knife tool. So K, click there, and then I got this one that I can control. If I click here, I get a point that will stay in place. And then down here where I want it to stop, I need to hit space and it will stay there. I'm going to do that here and there and all the way out here as well. So let's speed that part up. I almost got it. I think this is not too pretty, but I got a triangle up here, so I can actually add an extra edge loop here without having to count anywhere, because I'm not adding anything to my edges anywhere. So that's okay. Now I can add 4 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we only need 2 sleeves, and how many did I need all the way around here? 8. So 8 edge loops here and 8 edge loops here should be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I need to move those up, so let's speed that up. Okay, I want the sleeve a little longer, so let me move that down a bit. And then I just need to add some edge loops here until it fits more or less with the density of the geometry of the whole thing. Somewhere around that. This side will sew to that side, and since they're symmetrical, that will be fine. And we make sure that this seam line out here will fit with a seam line all the way around here. So that's pretty much it. We have the outline of our pattern here. We have mesh. But what we have here, well, first of all, we only have 1 sleeve. So let me Shift D, copy that. Okay, so now we have the outline of our t-shirt here. But if I'm going to make a kimono, I want a layer effect, sort of like a jacket shape to put over this. Now, luckily, we already have this built, so I could just use parts of what I already built and then modify it a little bit, and then we should get those parts and they should fit perfectly what I already have here.